Ladies and gentlemen, this is John Faraklas from allaboutShipping.co.uk in London, the administrative capital of shipping, of world shipping. The important thing is that this is a lovely evening today, a big change, the climate change as we all follow it, but it's on a good term. The markets today, they have dropped down to 872 minus 5, the Baltic Dry Index. The biggest drops was at the Panamaxes, which came down 44 points to 1121. Equally, were droppings at the Baltic Dirty Tanker Index at 6 points and the clean ones at 620. Now, the stakeholders of the shipping industry should realize one important issue, that being the unemployment which has engulfed Europe with 6 million up till this moment as we speak. 6 million Europeans within or outside the Eurozone are without a job. That's a very, very important issue. And we must make sure that this does not lead to a social upturn which will have incalculable repercussions to all intents and purposes. In the UK, travel recession has been sort of absorbed, let's call it better, this time, and we will wait to see in the short and long term how this will affect the markets. The Far East too. Things again were not as per plan, with the Chinese, the COSCO Pacific, the terminal arm of this Hong Kong listed company going down 14%, down to $66.1 million, despite that there has been a rise of 11% at the equal period, and it was better last year. The big question now is how to overcome overcapacity. It is good indeed to build ships, to have high commissions as brokers, to finance, that's fine. But overall, take my view, we need to curb this new building spree that it has started from the late 90s, started and continuing the noughties, because this will create a different spectrum. The private owners will disappear, will evaporate, and other things will enter. In particular, what we don't like to see is not public companies, but national companies. That's a very important issue. We can see also that major companies are trying to tackle the issues of the environment, such as Maersk. Again, here we have another issue, the war between the container trade and in particular the major companies, which they will give a big fight. I can tell you it's going to be a deadly war for the container trade. That's important. We have also to say some other news before we end our today's breaking news and interesting reporting from London, that we had never seen a proper tackling of the issue of piracy and the proper issue of what happens in the Syrian saga. One must remember that within the last 25 years we've seen the major war in Yugoslavia, former Yugoslavia, and the war in Iraq, and every single moment we've been stuck on telly to watch what happened. This is not fair not to see what happened in the piracy war, which affects greatly the shipping industry, companies and seafarers. We have to see both issues of this, and then, of course, the war in Syria. It's a very interesting chapter of world history, and the Eastern Mediterranean has none of these conflicts, but we don't know what will be the result. This is very, very important. On a better tone now, we have to see that last night, and you will read this soon in the news, the London branch of the Institute of Export staged an amazing event, the Opportunity Brazil. This, as well as the successful double Bonhams event, the Greek sail at Newbourne Street, and the marine sail at Knightsbridge, two great events with sextants, octants, and you name it, and lovely paintings. It is important to see that the art world is integrated and it's one part of the shipping industry. All cruise ships, they've got paintings on board in the rooms, and that's an important trade. We take this opportunity to thank you very much for listening, and we'll be back next week at the same time more or less with more interesting news. Thank you very much. Enjoy the evening. John Faraklas, allaboutShipping.co.uk. Good night.